Hey, Alex and Elise, the Jones Room Yalink camera is not on. I can hear you. There we go. That fixed it.
Let's see if it talks. It doesn't talk, it won't.
She talks. Oh, she talks.
Hello, Mr. Duquesnoy.
Hi, how are you?
Doing well.
That's good.
You get a lot of tourist traffic, I would imagine, over there, and
Yeah.
it gets a little worse, and then they resolve again.
You know what? The summers there are great. My grandkids that live here in Celebration come up for the summer,
That's
the whole
great.
summer,
That's great.
without parents.
That's fun.
It's good. That's the best.
Yeah. You
I love my son, my daughter-in-law, but kids are what it's all about.
Mhm. Just give a couple of minutes, see if anyone else joins.
Sure.
It's not very much.
Out there.
No, I think we've got a couple inches.
On New York, you're together.
You know, Mike's close.
Yes, they're both got one.
Yeah,
Both boats out of the water, I imagine.
yeah, it's out of the water.
It's only a little lofty for the kids. They only sail those.
Yeah.
Oh, 4 inches. Sure, should be nice.
I missed that first snowfall of the year, being down here, but after that, I don't miss it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I sent me a picture, I said, it's nice. And then he sent me a video of the snow blower, I said.
I saw some articles. Yeah. Maybe newspaper.
No news. First video.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
I did mine away finally. Was it last year, 2 years before? Been 10 years, hasn't been started or anything else kind of down here. So I'm letting it
Oh,
rock.
it was older than when you, my dad bought it for you.
Hello. Hi there. How are you? Hi,
I don't think that, Roger.
Roger, Jeff Gomez.
Just
Nice to meet you.
here with,
Greenlawn, 940.
920, okay, across the street.
That's the street, 931, okay.
Yeah, that's us. My wife doesn't like me, so she sits over
I
there.
see that, you guys are.
Yeah.
Keeping the distance.
I was 51 years, but she doesn't like me.
Get started.
Yes.
Everybody, sure. Yeah. That's the right thing. Keep on.
Get started. Welcome to the fourth quarter service area committee meeting. Today is Monday, December 15th. It is now 12:36 p.m. I am Alex Georgiadis, the director of the service area. Beside me here is service area administrator, Elise Rodriguez. Joining us online is Jacob Waddle, general manager. We also have Ray Febres, finance manager. And we also have Charles Richards, service area liaison from the board. In person today, joining us, Mr. and Mrs. Duquesnoy, and Mr. Gomez as well, joining us. We do not have quorum, so this meeting will be for discussion purposes only. And we'll get started. I just want to push finances to the front in case Ray needs to get off the line. So let's just jump right into finances. High level, finances, as always, are in good order. We have a surplus of 46,000 in operating. And looking forward, just anticipating how we'll be spending for landscaping specifically. We're showing in operations 5,000 allocated for out of contract landscaping in the operating budget, and reserve shows another 4,000. So we're talking about 9,000 in total for out of landscape budget for next year. And I mentioned in the email, but suggesting at least spend about 25% Q1, Q2, and leaving 75% for the second half to leave buffer for any unexpected circumstances that may arise, storm, cleanup, that sort of thing. And then Q3 going into Q4, start spending that other 75%, which would be 6,700 in this case, assuming the funds are still there. And the goal would be to freshen up the service area for Thanksgiving, Christmas, for the holidays, so we're fresh again, looking for the holidays. Again, I'm doing this in every service area, 25% first half of the year and leave 75% for the second half. Just general strategy.
From the stuff that was on the estimate that they gave was, they put out a $7,000 estimate. And again, I don't know if I recall, if they get $10,000 before you get a second bid. It just seems high for plants. I mean, I'm not a plant guy, I'm a finance guy.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, comparing to the other vendor we have on a per unit basis, he's cheaper. The other guy's about 30% higher. And again, this was total, I would imagine, for the entire service area. And I broke it up. There was some overhead at the end was, I don't know, 2,500. A lot of that we could probably take out right away. Yeah, separate for mulch, for instance. We could lump it in with our next mulch application. There's no need. It's the cleanup there, irrigation adjustment, all these little things he added on, but I think the reality is we could probably pull out a lot of that. So that's 2,000 to 2,500 right there. Then the balance of the work we could break up into front and driveways. Driveways, I would say lower priority, just visually. Let's hit the fronts first. And even that, we'll do a walkthrough of the quotation itself, and I'll show you one by one, and then let's get a vote. Do you want to go with that for now or make it wait? You know, do it now, make it wait. I think that's the best way to do it. And it's always going to have this sort of situation, a big estimate, and then we'll just have to prioritize between ourselves.
Right. What's the ability of Cindy, for example, was on the what's it called, garden club, and she was talking to me informally that she gets these plants so much cheaper, blah blah blah. This talk is cheap, and they don't plant
material
themselves.
only. Yeah. Okay. Without labor. Yeah. Okay.
Right. So, if there's any interest of getting a part of plant plants and cut it down some, you know, again, I think it's a nice way to meet your neighbors. It's not that hard, but you know, again, I'm just.
I agree. How many people actually want to partake? But
Right.
if they
Right. I mean, if it's 1 to 2 people, you know, pay somebody. You know, but if you get 5 or 6 people and you throw out some hot chocolate and beer or whatever,
Especially in a smaller service area like that.
it's not that, you know, you don't do it all in one day. You meet for 2 hours and, you know, you have hot dogs at the end or something. Yeah.
Lot party, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's an excuse, but I don't know. I'm just gonna float there. I just don't know if there's anything that prevents us from doing that, because again, $7,000 hits me wrong. I'm a finance guy. Ray, I hope you can understand me. Finance people hate to spend on plants, you know, or birthday gifts or Christmas gifts or anything else. Forget it. I'll just talk, but we should continue to move forward as we're not in the quorum anyway. I just wanted to know if anybody had any objections if we talk
It
about
doesn't hurt
that.
to have a conversation and look into
I think
alternatives.
it's a great idea to, if there's nothing preventing that, it's,
Right,
if
Right.
there's some interest in it, and, you know, like I said, it's a good way too to get the neighbors together. Some people enjoy doing that kind of thing.
Right.
You know, other people, man, I don't have time to,
Right.
I don't have any extra minutes to mess with that, but I don't think it hurts to hurt, you know, in a number of the HOAs and, you know, organizations that we work in, we've had a lot of, you know, community involvement, and what doesn't get done, if we go higher, that type of thing.
Right. Right,
The neighbors like it. It's a good way to get people together. Like you said, it's a smaller service area, so it's not like we're dealing with, you know, 400 people here. So,
right. I mean, you know, my feeling is that, you know, in 4 or 5 hours and 4 or 5 people, you take care of at least one side in the front. You know, probably less. But my wife always tells me I underestimate work with somebody else. You know,
Hi, this
it's
is-
just,
This is Jacob. A little more
we have not been
information.
successful giving quotes that are more competitive.
Yeah.
So this is just another way to think about it.
Good.
Yeah, a little more information on that. Your quotes that you get through one of the landscape providers do include the warranty. It also covers the workers' comp insurance required for those workers. We do have to be careful about residents working on common areas for the liability of that. Doesn't mean you can't, just something that we do need to be cautious on. And then as well as the purchase of the plant material, making sure we run that through the association properly if it's done separately. It would need to be like for like plants. If you were wanting to do any types of change out, that could provide some conflict to your landscaping contract. If you were doing a complete change out, which may change your monthly maintenance to those plant materials. But then another, I say those are the main items, which is why you do see the plant material typically higher on a landscaper quote than you see it if you were just to go to, you know, maybe a nursery and buy some plants yourself. And like I said, it does cover the warranty, which we do lots of challenges on warranty installations over this between the different communities here in Celebration. We've had over $600,000 of warranty plant material reinstalled this year. So that's just as one note on there.
Yeah, just conversation, just making sure I understand the rules before we float it around through the committee and through the homeowners.
One other thing is just being very careful when we message about it if you do end up going that route, because you do have some, I mean, I'm with you, you know, like I'll get out there and do gardening in my own
You're
HOA,
welcome
but
to join us.
but you do sometimes when you go around these initiatives, while you have residents like yourself that think this is a great idea, you do have a different sector of residents that say, why would I at all need to spend my own time doing this if I'm paying association dues to cover this? So it just makes sure we have to be, if we do go down that, we have to be very careful on the messaging onto saying, you know, curving it right so that way it doesn't offend residents in the other way around.
I understand. Yeah, to me, this would be a volunteer thing, and, you know, it's a volunteer thing, and if we don't do it, well, then the fees will go up. You know, I mean, it's pretty much how life works. Nothing is for free. So I don't know if it makes any sense, because I don't know if Cindy really has as good of a bargain as she says she does.
$7,000, I haven't seen the numbers or what that's including, but
It's a lot of plants.
the numbers I have looked at seem like you know,
There's a couple of other things in there. It's not just plants.
Yes.
And those things I don't
I
suggest.
mean, the obvious point is take the basically shopping list of plant material and get a price just for that.
Right,
And let's start from there, see where we are.
Yeah, I'll talk to Cindy. But
Anything else on finances?
well, just to be certain that, you know, we have kind of tried to make the budget so it's as thin as possible with the cash sitting around. And I think if we're doing the 25% only, we'll be okay with cash. And Ray, I'm just looking for your opinion on that. You know, again, I don't get too deep into it, but I think we'll be fine. It's whatever, say it's 3,000 or 4,000. I think even if we spent 3,000 or 4,000, we're not gonna be cash deprived until our next, rollover.
Yeah, correct. And I was already mentioning to Alex that I was gonna reach out to you guys probably mid-January after I close the year to tell you guys how much cash you have in reserve and to see if you guys would like to look at an alternative to invest additional money.
Okay?
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, just reach out when you're ready and, I'll be glad to
Yes.
talk about it. We can have a meeting and talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah, and you'll probably already notice in the balance sheet, but I already started accruing for the interest as we spoke, as we had agreed previously. So yeah, that's also like work in progress on a monthly basis now.
Moving on, any GoGov tickets, CBD tickets, nothing open? Anything that you see in the street, like a tree or anything like that, we could submit GoGov tickets for that. On the home, we would put it in through SiriNet, typically. Again, if it's easier through GoGov, it'll just get transferred over. If it's for the home, it'll get transferred over into SiriNet, just logistical item there. We have a code of conduct that everyone signed up for. The code of conduct is just a reminder for everyone, take another look at it, just a refresher annually. Just behavior and etiquette in meetings. And also just a reminder of no preferential treatment or special requests because we're on any committees. Again, just a reminder, refresher annually to take a look at that and what that covers.
Make sure.
Yes, it's us.
Cindy Smith is joining us.
Cindy, your
Hello.
ears are burning.
Do what?
Your ears were burning?
I thought you were talking about me. Hi, Diane, how are you?
We were talking about landscaping earlier, and an option of looking at alternative to using our landscaper for this plant material. So we just decided at the very least, let's look at the material quantity on this estimate and get pricing for that.
Uh-huh.
And obviously that's without warranty or labor or anything
Sure.
else, but at least let's see where we are to see if there is further conversation to be had.
Okay,
for
yeah, I
something
thought
like
that
that.
had already been done. The pricing. I thought the pricing.
The prices that they offer. Conversation.
As far as.
I was sent out, sent out an email a couple weeks ago, I think.
I'll resend it. Send it down. I'll resend it.
Had two attachments.
Okay, I'll get it, just. Because
Yeah. Just went back and you and I had a casual conversation about trying to use the, Garden Club pricing to,
yes.
and we get a little
It'll
bit
be a
of
wholesale.
a party, yeah, did a party together and he said he'd buy the beer. Yeah,
What? I'm sorry.
We'll contribute nothing.
Steve volunteered to do some work. I mean, that's another big
Yeah,
item there. And again, we want to be careful. Jacob mentioned earlier, just liability, as far as actually doing work in any common areas. We want to be aware of that.
sure.
But we'll have a
I can
conversation.
dig a hole and I can plant.
Point.
I mean, it's a no-brainer. We'll hold you to that, Diane.
And alternatively, I mean, just looking at the work we do have on that estimate, the plan would be just to break it up over the course of the year and prioritize.
Sure.
So I suggested we walk through and go through the estimate on a address by address basis and say, do we need that sooner or later? And just put it to the bottom of the list or escalate it.
Okay.
In general, also, whoever does the work, we want to know what we need to be done first.
Sure.
Just so we could
Yeah.
save some money, because we also mentioned we'd like to spend about 25% of our landscaping budget in the first half of the year, and then leave 75% for the second half, just to allow for unforeseen circumstances.
Turkey.
And then, exactly, and then push, exactly, for holiday time to be fresh and updated for the area. So that's general strategy for us.
That's fine.
Anything else on throwing on landscaping maybe, or finance possibly?
Don't we start at 1? Didn't we start at, aren't we starting at 1?
No, 12:30.
Oh, no, I got that, sorry. I apologize. I had it in my calendar for 1.
Like in front of us.
Right, there's some stuff, yeah, he's got that on, it's on the list of plants. And there's a whole bunch of, little buckets that needs to be filled in.
Oh,
Sorry.
Yeah, for instance, the fronts, I would address first before driveway, we mentioned that, especially a hole that it's obvious. As opposed to maybe something as they climb, they could maybe in the quarter. Things like that we'd look at as a priority, so we could schedule offline just for us to walk through if you like, and
Sure.
I would pinpoint that.
I'm really not talented with plants. I mean, Cindy and some other people know a heck of a lot more than I do.
Well, I don't know about the talent part, but
Trust me.
I can lend a hand, but.
That's all for financials. We just mentioned the reminder code of conduct, just a reminder of taking a look at that document again as a refresher just for the year. Financially, we went over. Future service area projects, just the landscaping we mentioned. We had an item on here listed RFP for the landscape vendor. Is that still something you want to pursue or look into? I will give one caveat is that we do have an option of extending their contract another year. We should decide that by the middle of next year, roughly, Q2, I would say. At least lock it in at the lower price, and that'll give us flexibility moving forward. But at least lock in the lower pricing, and then we can have our discussions as well, in parallel, if you like. But just financially speaking, I would lock it in. Even his new price will be higher, let alone outside vendors, if we do an RFP. That's been our experience overall. So that would be the advice, say Q2 meeting, just to lock that in, extend it, and if we want, entertain the RFP as well.
Yeah.
I'm hoping things are in better shape. I know we've been trending positively, but then we have stuff there yet. So we had a little sit down with them for 2026, just typical workmanship items, cleanup especially is a major one we've seen throughout. So I'm hoping once those get addressed more routinely, it becomes a normal instead of an exception. The general image of the vendor will be better.
Just in terms of, the concept, if there's extending without risk versus extending and being locked in. They're locked into a price that we extend. What's our right of cancellation? What's our notice
It's pretty
period?
short. I think I want to say 30 to 60 days. It's good.
So there's really no risk at extending at the same price.
And I
It's-
think there isn't an increase on your extension. I think it's a flat.
Okay, yeah.
No,
and I
increase yourself. Yeah,
We'll verify.
verify
I'm pretty
that.
sure that's the case, which seems like a no-brainer. At least strategy-wise, it gives us more options, right?
Right.
Anything
Are you
else
talking
on
about the
landscape?
landscaping contract?
Yep. Yeah, Charles, any input on that? I don't know if you heard,
Um,
we were just mentioning just to lock in the extension. We get an extension for 1 year. We want to
Mhm.
lock that in, at least figure by mid-year next year, because I think it expires end of next year, the contract. And at least we lock in the better pricing, and it gives us options to explore other options if we so decide. But financially speaking, it makes sense to lock in his pricing.
So that would be the calendar year 2026 or?
27. The current one ends end of 26, so we're talking about extending through 27, end of 27. Same pricing. Because what I mentioned earlier, even if Brian gives us new pricing, let alone outside vendors, we're going to see significant increase. I would say at least 30%, if not more.
Yeah, I mean, I knew in talking with some of the members of the committee individually, I know landscaping has been a real problem, and at minimum, I don't know if he'd be agreeable to maybe at least looking at some of the I guess some of the contractual requirements, or I feel like at times this service area in particular, it seems like we continue to kind of spiral the drain on certain things. And I don't want to speak out of turn. I know I've spoken with many of you just about landscaping, and I understand obviously the financials and the dollars and cents, but I just want to make sure.
Charles, what I'll ask on that, rather than making general statements, to have actionable items. Like I've told Bob this, like if they leave a bag of garbage, shoot me a picture of it right away and we can address it immediately. Instead of waiting till the next week's walkthrough when they're there next week and say, here, look, this was sitting here for a week. When something happens, I can address it immediately and use it as an opportunity to teach, what went wrong here and how to repeat. Go ahead, Cindy.
So I would like to see the contract that he signed, because I believe that he is not fulfilling the items that are on that contract.
We'll send a copy of that.
So, I mean, it's
Right.
because I asked for the contract I wanted to see, because I sent it out to landscapers in Polk County.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to get bids, and what I'm reading of that contract is not what he's doing.
Okay. If you could identify specific items so that I can address them.
look at the.
Of course, once I send it to you, then just
Yeah.
send me back some notes
Yeah.
and what we feel is not being done. and we can
Okay.
discuss.
Just again,
Yeah.
being a non-landscaping person. Financially, I understand delaying, but I don't know when the rainy season is, the dry season, and that, does that plan of 75% to the plan? But
No, it's more for just financial planning, waiting till later in the year, making sure nothing came up unexpectedly, just gotta have that money in case we need it. That's the only reason.
what's the ideal time to plant?
October, September, November.
You're gonna get into the dry season, and if irrigation isn't working properly, which that happens quite a bit, is we plant new things like grass, and then they don't check to make sure that the irrigation is working properly, then we lose all that.
Okay,
The same with plants.
so the dry season is when?
It's like, I wanna say it's like from November to April, maybe the end of March. We're not getting those everyday rains or.
So probably the best time if we're gonna delay is probably planting in September, let the root before.
Yeah.
Yes, after the summer, when it's too much rain and too much heat, so just after the summer, is a good time to start. And again, just being fresh for the holidays too, that's another big plus.
Yeah.
So everything. looks nice.
Yeah.
All right, so have a note, get the contract out to you.
Okay, appreciate that.
Anything else on landscaping? Service area accomplishments, for 25. Just mentioned some new plant material that was installed. We had some sod finally updated. Mulch finally was applied, I believe, last week, finished up. We did pressure washing, the flats and the full cleaning in fall. Gutter cleaning was done. And we also had our meet and greet a couple of weeks ago. That was successful. If you weren't there, I recommend you definitely join us on the next one. Yeah.
So, I have already noticed that the sidewalks are turning green on our side, and we were just pressure washed the 1st of November. So it hasn't even, I mean, it's really been a month and they're already turning green. So I don't know if they're not using a strong enough solution.
How do you feel that the pressure washing was done on the fences and whatever?
It was not good. Please do not hire these people again.
That's how we felt.
They missed, as we walked through, Roger and I walked through, we could see where they didn't, underneath the drip line, the drip edge right there, and above the, you call them gutters, I call them eavesdropping. That it is, they missed all of that. They also, I sent an email because I was asked, or the email went out that said, if you do not want certain areas pressure washed, please let me know. They actually walked through my garage and into my garage door, just happened to be open, walked through my garage and pressure washed things with bleach, sprayed my plants, got up on the roof of the overhang that goes over your back door and walked, because my next door neighbors, I also let you guys know that we didn't want those 2 courtyards cleaned, walked over on the roof into my neighbor's courtyard and sprayed her furniture. So, with bleach water. So, it doesn't do me any good to let you guys know that, no, I don't want those cleaned. I mean, I sent an email with contact information, copied my neighbor because she asked me to do that, and still they come in. And I actually talked to the one guy, and he said, he looked at his phone and he said, I never got any messages from town hall to not clean those 2. So that was.
Well, I emailed Alex right away, and he came out immediately and kind of resolved some of it.
Okay.
But there was a lot more in the back that we just said, we'll deal with it
Yeah.
ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, if it's happening, I can help in that case. After the fact, it becomes more difficult.
Right.
But that's the main point that you mentioned. I was aware of that. Because we have verification that we communicated that, but then whether it happened or not, that's where we decide. Okay. All right, note taken. All right, anything else? Any input, Charles? Anything else you want to mention?
Charles.
You dropped off, that's fine. Anything else? Here? So, all right, well, thank you for attending the meeting. And I hope you have a great day.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm really.
Thank you all. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.